The reflection! Mira hated mirrors. Ever since she was a child, she had an uneasy feeling around them, like something was watching her from the other side. Her mother dismissed it as childish nonsense, but the unease never left her. Years later, Mira moved into a new apartment. It was small but charming, with one odd feature: an old, ornate mirror mounted in the bedroom. She tried to ignore it, but every time she passed by, she felt its weight, like it was pulling her in. One night, while brushing her hair, Mira caught something in the reflection. It was subtle, a shadow that didn't belong. She turned quickly, but the room behind her was empty. It's just your imagination, she thought. But the next night, the shadow returned. This time it moved. It darted across the mirror's surface, just out of sync with her own movements. Mira froze, staring at the reflection. Slowly, her mirrored self turned its head, just a fraction of a second after her own. Her heart raced. The reflection smiled. Mira screamed and threw a blanket over the mirror. For hours, she sat trembling in her bed, too afraid to move. Finally, she convinced herself it was a trick of the light, her mind playing games. She peeked under the blanket. The mirror was normal again. But the next day, strange things began to happen. Objects in her apartment weren't where she'd left them. Her keys were missing, only to reappear in places she hadn't been. And the mirror was wrong. Mira's reflection would stare at her, even when she wasn't looking directly at it. Sometimes it would move slightly when she stood still. One night she woke up to the sound of glass shattering. She bolted upright, her eyes darting to the mirror. It was cracked, jagged lines splintering the surface. Her reflection was gone. Mira approached cautiously, her heart pounding. The mirror's surface was black, like staring into a void. She leaned in closer, trying to make sense of it. A hand shot out. Cold, skeletal fingers grabbed her wrist, pulling her toward the glass. She screamed and struggled, but the hand was impossibly strong. Her reflection reappeared, grinning wickedly as it yanked her into the mirror. The next morning, the mirror was whole again, pristine and unbroken. Mira's apartment was silent. Inside the mirror, Mira banged on the glass, her screams muffled and unheard. Her reflection, now free, smiled as it walked into the world. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.